That's a really good question.
Well, I like it.
How did it start?
Oh, you want me to, am I going to play you and you play me?
Yeah, let's do that again.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Imagine you're David Levithan.
Okay, so my name is David Levithan, and I got into Brown because I'm Mr. Fancy Pants. And
This is exactly how I tell the story.
And I attended Brown University, and at Brown University, there was a guy who was my friend, and his name was David Levithan. And David Levithan and I were constantly mistaken for one another. David Levithan is a modern dancer. He now dances with the Mark Morris Dance Group, which is one of the best modern, if you're a modern dancer right now, you'd be like, oh man, because that's a big deal. He's a very famous, talented modern dancer. And people would always walk up to David Levithan and walk up to him and say, you look so oafish. But last night on stage, it was like you could fly. And so David became fascinated by people who have the same name. Oh, and the other thing is that David Levithan's, this is completely true, David Levithan's college roommate, John Green. Not me. God knows I didn't get into Brown.
So meanwhile, I, John Green, was working away in Chicago. I'd written this small little book called Looking for Alaska. A few people early on liked it. It had a little buzz. And so David Levithan picked up an advanced reader's copy and emailed me, said he liked the book. I was excited because David Levithan is the best author I've ever read. And all because of his education at Brown University. So I started talking with David, and I liked his book, Boy Meets Boy, and I was excited because Looking for Alaska had not yet come out, and we ended up talking every Friday afternoon, and one day David said to me he had an idea for a book. He wanted to do something with a bunch of characters with the same name in different places, and I said that sounds like a great idea. The one thing I would insist upon, though, is that we just do it too, and just you and I write it.
That's because you have to split the check fewer times. That was my, I didn't have a job, I was desperate to try to, yeah, all right.
Because we were such big names, we knew it would be high money. People were
we were
millions.
We were huge back then.
So yeah, so then it started. We both decided very early on that the book. Are you ready? Are you ready for the physical part of our performance?
Yes. Oh,
the book would be shaped as an X. Clear? Everybody clear? X, just in case you're unfamiliar with the letter. It doesn't get much play, so we like to illustrate it. So we thought that this would be a really interesting way to structure a novel, that we'd have these two characters with the same name living in different suburbs of Chicago.
And they would start in different places. They would meet. They would keep going. X.
Exactly. So starting the novel, all we knew was the name. I picked the first name Will, John picked the last name Grayson. And we knew exactly where they were going to meet, which we will not give away to you, but those of you who read the book know where they meet, and on what day. And that was it. Then we went off to our separate apartments and our separate lives, and we each wrote the first chapter for our respective wills. We didn't talk about it at all. We didn't know what the other was going to write. And then luckily, we got together. John was living in New York at the time with his wife, Sarah, and we decided to read them aloud to each other and to Sarah as a way of hearing them. And that's really how the story clicked into place.
And then just 4 short years later, we finished it. And here we are. We gave we spent like 10 minutes on the first month of the story.
Right.
Yeah, okay, and then 12 seconds saying, and then we wrote it. Then we wrote it.
And again, we are going to have a Q&A period, so this sort of vague 4 years that we're talking about, you certainly can ask about that. The heartbreak, the despair,
the fisticuffs.
Oh my God, never fisticuffs.
Oh
God,
fisticuffs.
I kept saying no. Tiny Cooper should be straight. And John was like, no.
I won't accept it.
I won't accept it.
So we are going to read now from the book. We're going to read part of one of my chapters and part of one of David's chapters. Only we have